Our top story this half hour, no need for masks, physical distancing, or cohorting, at least for now. Ontario's Science Advisory Table issuing some new recommendations on back to school.
CP24's Arda Zakarian is live outside of TDSB headquarters this hour with more on this story. So Arda, it looks like they couldn't come to a consensus on mask wearing.
That's right. So they decided, because they couldn't come to a consensus, that it's no longer needed. Now, these are just recommendations. We don't know if schools are actually going to implement them. So the recommendations are as follows: no masking needed. However, there are other recommendations that they want in place, like air quality control, sanitization, and personal hygiene, hand washing. I'm going to bring in Dr. Alan Grill, who is the Chief of Family Medicine at Markham-Stouffville Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Grill.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for being here with us. And Dr. Grill, I have to ask you, as a physician, how do you feel about these recommendations?
Well, I'm glad that the Ontario Science Table came out with some recommendations. It's always important to have conversations about these issues because they are contentious. You know, there's not sort of one approach that I think everybody agrees on. I think we can all agree that our kids need to be in schools. They're so important for education. They're so important for social development. In Ontario, unfortunately, our kids missed a lot of in-school learning during COVID-19. I think our province missed the most across Canada, and we want to do our best to reduce those absences. And I think the real key here is to actually reduce transmission of infections in school, whether you're talking COVID-19, the common cold, influenza. I don't think we can eliminate it 100%. And I think the permanent and temporary measures that the Science Table talked about are a very reasonable approach.
Do you think, because there is an uptick in COVID-19 cases among school-aged children, there's 17% increase for kids ages 5 to 11, 6% for kids ages 12 to 19. Do you think that air quality control, sanitization, and hand hygiene is enough to keep COVID-19 away?
So I think it's a combination of things to reduce risk. Like I said before, it's going to be, I think, next to impossible to reduce, any type of risk of COVID 100%. So things that they talked about, including ventilation, like whether you have HEPA filters in classrooms or going back and actually improving the ventilation system, is really important. I mean, nobody wants to breathe in dirty air. We want to improve the air quality, and that's been shown to reduce the risk of transmission of respiratory illness. Cleaning surfaces, good hand hygiene. These have always been things that we've told kids to do, especially to reduce the risk of the common cold. Coughing and sneezing into your sleeve or using a Kleenex and then washing your hands all make a lot of sense. And I think the other key thing is don't go to school if you're sick, whether you're a staff or a student. Like, if you're sick, stay home, seek medical attention, don't go back until you're sort of cleared and feeling a lot better. And let's not forget vaccination. I mean, 12 to 17-year-olds have done quite well. Over 80% of that population has at least 2 doses of the COVID vaccine. The 5 to 11-year-olds, not so good. It's 40%. And we know that getting vaccinated reduces your risk of severe illness, and it also reduces your risk of getting COVID-19, not by 100%, but a significant more amount than not being vaccinated. So let's continue to focus on the things we know that work moving into this school year.
Dr. Grill, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Alan Grill is the Chief of Family Medicine at Markham-Stouffville Hospital. Back into the newsroom, Chanel and Jennifer.